Good evening. Welcome to the Tsujimoto Family Sustainable Agriculture Lab dedication. My name is Betsy Deckard-Boss, and I'm president of the East Aurora Educational Foundation. We're so pleased to welcome everyone, the community, the students, the school board, the Tsujimoto family. It's wonderful to look out and see you all here tonight, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules. We're so pleased to have everyone, especially the Tsujimoto family, some have traveled as far as California to be here. This is a milestone event to honor their family. It celebrates a significant grant-funded expansion of the farm facilities at the school for the Sustainable Agriculture Program. We want to thank the Tsujimoto family because this program will help to shape the next generation of agricultural leaders right here in our own community. I just want to give everyone perspective on this process. Susan McLaren, who was past board president of the East Aurora Educational Foundation, and I had our first contact with Mark Tsujimoto in 2021, I believe. It was over a Zoom meeting, and he wanted to establish a scholarship in his Uncle Harry Tsujimoto's name for a student at the East Aurora High School who was going on to study sciences in college. Mark will be telling you more about Harry in a few minutes, but during our Zoom call, we gave him some feedback about the East Aurora Educational Foundation and discussed our mission, which is to enhance the educational experience of the students at the East Aurora School District. We informed him that we carry out this mission by providing funds to our educators for innovative grant proposals that are out of reach of the district's budget. A couple years later, I sent Mark a copy of one of our latest grant proposals from teachers Jeff Shelley and Ethan Hansen, entitled the Sustainable Agriculture Grant. Given his family's history in agriculture, I thought he would appreciate it. And after that, the rest is history. Not only did he find it interesting, but he reached out to offer support for it. And here we are today. Mark, it's been an incredible honor to get to know you and learn about your remarkable family history through this process. What you've done to honor your family's namesake, not only in East Aurora, but at Cornell, at UC Berkeley, and other places that we have no idea of. It's truly a labor of love, and it's nothing short of incredible. We so appreciate this. Before I introduce our next speaker, I have an announcement that I'd like to make. The East Aurora Educational Foundation recognizes an educator in our community every year that goes above and beyond to teach our children. This award is called the James Ford Commitment to Education Award. The criteria include commitment to the betterment of education in East Aurora, persistent dedication to the cause, creative and original thinking, and involvement in community life. As stated by Chelsea Skulski and Bill Roberts in their nomination, Jeff has made an impact on our schools in the areas of environmental studies, earth science, and sustainable agriculture since 2000. He has made significant contributions to our school community in a variety of roles, including an advisor chaperone, a mentor, and a leader as key club advisor, peer coordinator, department chair, and sustainability club advisor. He's had incredible influences on many, many students along the way. He's the brainchild, along with teacher Ethan Hansen, of the Sustainable Agriculture Program. Jeff is also a leader in the community as a lifelong volunteer fireman for Westfalls? Colden Fire Company, as well as a chief, is that correct? Captain, and a Boy Scout leader for many years. I'm thrilled to announce that this year's James Ford Commitment to Education Award goes to Mr. Jeff Shelley. Congratulations. We look forward to celebrating you in November. Next, I'd like to introduce Brian Ross, Superintendent of the East Aurora Union Free School District.
Good evening. It's really great to see everyone. It's an incredible turnout for this celebration. And I would just like to take a moment just to say thank you. This started about 4 years ago with a conversation that I had with Ethan Hansen, one of the teachers of sustainable agriculture. And it came from a conversation that I had with my student advisory group, who was thinking about how can we improve our food service in terms of locally sourcing, better choices, those types of things. And then Ethan presented on local sourcing for our staff. He and I had a conversation about creating a sustainable ag course for our kids because they had such a high level of interest. And from there, it just took off. And he, along with Jeff, have done an incredible job steering our students through this adventure, and it has far exceeded any of my expectations. And that's only possible with the incredible support of our foundation and the incredible generosity of the Tsujimoto family and your foundation. This would not be possible without you, and it separates us, quite honestly, from any other school district in our area. This experience for our students is quite extraordinary, and I'll be honest, every time I visit, I'm blown away by what they're doing, and that's thanks to you. And I can only imagine what this grant is going to allow us to do. I'll be honest, right now it's beyond my thoughts and ideas, but I know it's going to be something that's really exceptional, and we thank you for your support and for everything you've done for our students. Thank you so much.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Bill Roberts, and I'm the principal of East Aurora High School. And I told them I'd keep it brief here, but I do want to thank a few individuals as well. And if you're new to the high school or you're new to the Sustainable Agriculture Program, we have many students who are sitting in the center here today, and I think they'd all agree that they have developed the knowledge and the skills that are needed to become thoughtful stewards of our environment and future leaders in the area of food insecurity and leaders in sustainable practices. That is the goal of this program. And I want to recognize and thank several individuals and organizations for their support for this program. First, Mr. Russ and the Board of Education for believing in the vision, Ethan and Jeff's vision, in supporting this unique idea. Also want to thank them for transforming our front lawn into a farm, which has become quite an asset for the program. Thank you to the Educational Foundation and the Tsujimoto family. We are incredibly fortunate to have your support and partnership, and know that your investment inspires us to continue to grow this program, to make you proud of what our students accomplish, and in sharing those successes with our community. I want to thank Brian Mertzloff and the Buildings and Grounds Department. You've worked alongside us every step of the way. We don't get many opportunities to thank you publicly, but we want to thank you and your department for your patience, your flexibility, and your willingness to help with whatever was needed, and there was a lot that was needed. This program simply wouldn't be the same without your department. And finally, it's my privilege to introduce the founders of the East Aurora High School Sustainable Agriculture Program, as you've heard, Ethan Hansen and Jeff Shelley. And as they join me up here at the podium, during a remarkably short period of time, these two educators have created something truly special. Their vision, their dedication, their passion has transformed an idea that Mr. Russ noted a few minutes ago, and I remember those conversations, into a program that is impacting our students. It's impacting our school community, and it's serving as a model to others. Jeff and Ethan represent the very best of collaboration. They share a common passion for experiential learning and a belief that some of the most powerful lessons happen when students get their hands dirty. They solve real-world problems, and they take ownership of their learning. So please join me in welcoming and thanking Jeff Shelley and Ethan Hansen.
So Jeff and I are scientists, and I think maybe that makes us uniquely suited to try this big experiment out here. And it has a lot of variables, and it has a lot of different data points. And so it's been an adventure, and a great adventure, and we've had a great it seems like longer than 3 years, but only 3 years to do this so far. And it feels like the end of the beginning, our sort of proof of concept. And we're really excited for the next phase here with the generosity of the KT Foundation, the Tsujimoto family, and what we can do from here. So this event is extra special this year. But the last 2 years before this, we did a picnic, lunch, barbecue, and Jeff's probably thankful he's not out there cooking in the blazing sun.
Chicken this year.
Running the barbecue. But in that event, we recognized the seniors and their contributions to the program, and we'd like to do a little bit of that here. The class, who is mostly responsible for running the farm, are all seniors, and they contribute through daily chores, signing up on weekends. When we raise our calves, it's a morning and evening shift, and so a lot of our students put in time and effort to get here in the winter, in the weather. There are a lot of other places where they step up. So I just want to make sure we recognize the contributions of the students in making this possible. It would not be possible without the enthusiasm and the engagement of our students. And that's one of the data points we rely on for informing what we do, is the engagement and enthusiasm of our students. And this is a good time to recognize, with the generosity of the Tsujimoto family, we are now able to offer an award to our dedicated student leaders that are part of the program. And this year, we're able to recognize, and I'll ask them to stand so that all of us can see them. Recognize 3 students going above and beyond, leaders in the program, and they are Ali Swazi, Maya Reynolds, and Dee Nguyen. And this is no surprise to them. They received this award at the Senior Awards a couple weeks ago. Allie is our go-to scheduler-in-chief, and running the text thread to remind people of chores and stepping in when there's an open spot in chores. Maya's like the go-to emergency call if something's needs a quick fix. And then V is like the animal whisperer, always making sure the rabbits have fresh grass, and even sometimes taking pictures of them with eyeglasses on or other decorations. So all of our students make the contributions. These are 3 exceptional students that we were able to give this Tsujimoto Family Sustainable Agriculture Leadership Award to as part of this next phase. I'd also want to recognize the sort of the unexpected parts of this experiment have been drawing in other classes and other community groups through our farm space and through the program. It wouldn't feel right not to recognize Mr. Kevin Polini's work experience class, and their contributions. So that's a Erie 2 BOCES classroom that's we're lucky to host in our building. And so Mr. P and his students, particularly Brandon Downey and some other students as well, they sort of fill in these things during the day that we really couldn't do without. So they're a vital component of this, and not something we expected to happen. It's just been an awesome part of building this community space. We've had Mrs. Kavanaugh's class help us. They're like the chief egg washers now. Okay, so that's a big job. And our summer interns, we'll get to that in a second, but our summer interns are gonna have to take on that responsibility. We've had visits from the Rural Outreach Center, Summer Scholars Program. So they come on Thursdays and experience the farm with our summer interns. The 4-H Youth CAN program, we've had 2 visits with them, and lets our students meet some students from other districts and have experiences related to the food system with them. So that's been an awesome sort of unexpected aspect of this. We're excited with the next phase here and this grant funding to kind of expand our curriculum offerings, and hoping to put out some regional curriculum that we can share what we do, things we do in class. And as part of that, we've had, I don't know, we lost count, probably a dozen,
At least a
dozen schools visit, and some of those schools are already putting in their own version of what we do. There's a food and garden club that I know that has sprung up at another school. So that's always exciting that we're able to share this program and hopefully let it build into other districts. And then just a quick note on what we want to do in the future. So we're planning some exciting overnight visit to Cornell to experience the Ag School. We're planning to offer some paid internships at local businesses, so food and environmental related businesses. We sort of beta tested a global agricultural development curriculum this spring, where we read a book called The Last Hunger Season, which is about rural farmers in Kenya and their experience. And then our students ran a simulation of the decision-making and events that can happen as part of a year in that farming system. This additional grant funding continues our summer internships, which is a great experience for our students that are rising up to senior year. And there's other things that I don't have time to mention, but we're really excited for what comes next.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ethan. So the course we teach here is very different. There are no tests, there are no exams that the kids take. Tonight's final exam is to attend tonight and bring a dish to pass. So hopefully you'll enjoy taking a look at their recipes, their menus, and then why they chose that dish to bring to tonight's event. So that is how we kind of cap things off, very unconventionally. Tonight I would like to kind of recognize some of our partners. There's no way we could have had to run this program without the community members that have been able to help us in our endeavors. Again, Ethan and I neither of us are agriculture teachers. Like we said, we're just scientists. So we've learned a lot. I know I've learned immense amounts about the animal aspects. Ethan's learned, I know, a lot more about the plant aspects of some of the different things. So I just want to list and recognize, and if you're here, just raise your hand and kind of wave to everybody. Some of the people that we've worked with, Sharon Bachman from Cornell Cooperative Extension, and Katie Riley. She is our 4-H staff that works along with Cornell. Erin Helko, is Erin here tonight? Oh, there she is. Welcome, Erin. She is truly the bee lady of Western New York, as if you don't know that at all. I mean, we went from having one hive out here, barely hanging strong, to 4 healthy hives. We couldn't definitely do it without Erin. And she's a great substitute teacher if one of us happened to be out. And all around, Erin, we really thank you, and the students do also, all the help that you have given to us over the years. We also like to tonight kind of announce a new addition to our faculty, if you want to call it, is Ben Collier. So Ben is our new social studies teacher. He will not be directly teaching this course, but he has got tons of background in operating CSAs, agriculture. I mean, he's got probably way more experience than Ethan and I combined when it comes into that aspects. And he just got hired this past year as our social studies teacher. So he lives locally, close by. He can help us on the farm in the summer. He's going to be working it with our summer staff a little bit along with it. And along with that, his wife, Nicole, who's in the back there waving. She actually works for Cornell Cooperative Extension, or not, used to.
I used to work for USDA.
Yep, or USDA. She's now at Providence Farms as the farm manager over there. So what an aspect between the two of them to be able to help us grow our program even further with the connections. Is Brian and Mary Strizek here? Herba Verde, not here. Herba Verde Farms have been very important with our program, with our taking care of all of our chicken processing and the beef cattle that we're able to foster for the winter. So again, they'd be a big aspect. Dave Schmidt, I don't think is here. He's our former tech teacher who runs a Christmas tree farm, because we again do have a Christmas tree farm up in the top field with about 70 or 80 trees planted right now. Also, Blue Devil Design I would like to recognize. We have Mr. Dodge and Izzy Rauch here. In a few moments, we will be debuting the sign that is underneath the sheet, and they were instrumental in developing that for us. Next is Joe Meyer. Is Joe here? Maybe Joe didn't make it. Joe Meyer is our maple guy. Maple syrup, and we already mentioned about Kevin with the BOCES. Jessica Armbrust, is Jessica not here? So she also has been instrumental with the co-op. She comes and speaks with us about the financial decisions that a co-op would have to make for purchasing produce, meat, all kinds of different things. And again, she's been a part of it for many, many years. And then Thomas Hagner. Is Thomas here? There he is. Welcome, Thomas. So his granddaughter was in our class last year and realized that we needed a rototiller, and he stepped up to the plate and donated money so that the foundation could buy us a rototiller. So thank you. This just shows the connections that we get. People see we need something and they step up. So again, thank you for that last year, Thomas. Next is I do also want to recognize our building and grounds. I know Ethan already did. Again, Brian and all the work with your team to get our water and electric hooked up out there, which has been pivotal for us to be able to sustain life of all the animals out there. And then along with that, all the other building and grounds like Tom Stabell back there hiding in the corner. He likes to hide in the woodwork. Even though he's a custodian, he has a lot of knowledge in taking care of animals, agriculture. His daughter, who's going to Cornell for veterinary, came in and visited and actually did a spoke to our class and such. So Tom has been a great asset, and Tom, thank for all the help that you give us over all the years. And then Scott Clear also, but I think Scott, he worked all day. He's headed home. Our head maintenance, because we do make a little bit of a mess at times.
A little bit is an understatement.
Next, I would like to honor our interns that we had this past summer. These were the students that actually were our managers for the summer. So when I call your name, just stand for a round of applause when we have everybody up. So these were the students that worked over the summer last year, got paid. They were our managers this past year and kind of ran the show for the most part. So Maya Reynolds, Ellie Swazi, Tyler Strezek, Ella Barber, Patrick Hayes and Nathan Fisher. All have a stand. So again, they were the ones working this past summer to make sure everything was taken care of up here. I would also like tonight to introduce our this summer's interns. Not all of them are here, but we do have a number of them that are here. I believe Sawyer's not. Sawyer grad? No. Thomas Mollbauer-Hauser. Lily P. Lily, if you'd like to stand. Jack Booya is not here. Caitlin Privet is not here. And then we have Brendan Dowry, and then we have Hora Long. Honor. And those are our summer interns for this upcoming year. Without further ado, we're now going to turn over to our officers of the year to come up. And then they will also be debuting our sign as we kind of wrap up our program here. So here are our officers for this past year. They were elected by their peers. President Maya Reynolds, Vice President Ali Swazi, Vice President of Farm Operations Ali Swazi, Vice President of Marketing and Sales Ava Improta, Treasurer Tyler Strizek, Assistant Treasurer Ella Barber, and Secretary Mina Vincent Groves. Come on up.
Wow, that's a lot of people. Okay. I had a lot of fun this year. This is like a really great program. One of the things I love about East Aurora is the amount of opportunity we get through either sports or classes or clubs. And having the opportunity to take care of the animals and the plants this summer and then continuing that process throughout the year was truly an amazing experience. There's just not really much that can compare to it. And I think that it's truly one of the best classes I've ever taken. There's nothing else like it. I don't think any other classes I've taken I've been able to pet bunnies or feed 2 gallons of milk to 2 really hungry cows. So it's a really unique experience, and I know it's changed the course of many people that have taken this class because it provides a different perspective on a lot of things. So, yeah.
I honestly don't know what I would have done without sustainable agriculture, because I feel like it has made me a much better person. Stepping into the role as Vice President of Operations was a huge deal for me because I knew I would be taking on a lot with my fellow officers, but I never knew I would be taking more. But I always knew I had to put in as much effort as I could to keep this farm standing. So I made sure I communicate with the teachers and with the students because everyone is an important factor in this farm. This, like Maya said, is a grand opportunity that you may not find in most other schools. Not many schools have this much land that is open to many possibilities, and we put that towards this farm. Winter was a hard season, and it really shows how much the students care for this farm and how much we are willing to put ourselves through to make sure this stays standing. Even with frozen water, cold weather, icy roads, we got it done. So congratulations to everyone. We are all proud of you.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's in this class. Thank you to Mr. Hansen and Mr. Shelley. I think this is such an amazing course. And when I found out about it sophomore year, I was so shocked, and I was like, what? Like, I did not think this is like, I don't know, you just like don't hear about this. Like, there's a farm at this school. Like, that's crazy. And I just think that's an amazing opportunity. As Maya was saying, that's just an opportunity, great opportunity for everyone who might not be from a farm background, and you get to learn about stuff that you would never learn about before. So I just think that's super cool, and I got to do marketing. I was vice president of marketing, and I just think that was really interesting to learn about that stuff because in high school, I never got to do anything with marketing, and I just thought it was cool to do that in this class. So thank you to everyone.
Oh, wow, this is a lot of people. Okay,
Didn't I already say that?
I'm agreeing with her. All right, so I was assistant treasurer, so I was kind of just there when Tyler was absent or couldn't fill out certain forms and like they needed an extra hand, so I helped out with like treasuring, but I was more of like a worker on the farm or like marketing. I was part of the marketing team, the sales team. And I just think like it was such an incredible experience to be a part of. You don't, like Ava said, you don't hear about this at other schools like you do here. And I think it was just like such a unique and amazing experience to be able to like witness it and do like firsthand things. And like, I think it was important for me to know because I kind of found out I don't like farm work, but but I mean that was a step, right? I got more into sales and marketing. I was a little bit off on the farm, but you know, I like to feed the cow and the chickens and you know, fill their water and stuff. But I definitely think like it allowed me to take a different perspective at life and like where your food comes from. And Audrey, stop laughing. where your food may come from. We did a lot of classes, like we talked a lot about organic and sustainably sourced foods and like in the grocery stores and stuff. And I just think it definitely opened my eyes to like different experiences and different point of views.
Hi, I was the treasurer for sustainable agriculture this year, and I just want to thank again Mr. Hanson, Mrs. Shelley for taking this huge step and really creating this unique and enriching experience for all of us. Like I think the modern education system often values like repetition and of knowledge-based facts, and we don't often get to do that hands-on learning. So I really appreciate Mr. Hanson and Mrs. Shelley and the East Aurora school faculty as a whole of like really believing in this program and its mission. Handling the finances this year, it's easy to look on the farm like, oh, we have some cows and chickens and that's cool. But like it really is a well-oiled machine, and Mr. Hanson and Mrs. Shelley really know what they're doing. And so yeah, I just wanted to say that and thank you again.
Hi, I'm Mina, and I was the secretary this year. And this was a class I originally didn't even think I was going to take. I kind of got thrown into it by Maya. But I think it really helped me learn a lot of things. And from the perspective as a secretary, it taught me more about like the behind the scenes. And you have to take all these notes, and you have to get everyone else's like. Sorry, I'm so bad at public speaking.
I'm pretty sure we all are.
You have to get like everyone else's like what they're working on pretty much, and know where they're at, and making sure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to, or they know what they're doing. And then the perspective of being a farm worker and working on the farm that we have here, it really teaches you the important lesson that you can't always put yourself first. You have living beings that you're taking care of, and you have to make sure that their needs are met. Whether that's like, one of my like top experiences was probably when it was like 8 p.m. dead of winter, and I had to call Maya because our power went out in the shed and we had baby chicks. And yeah, so we had to fix that issue, and that was definitely a memorable experience of middle of the night. So yeah, I just think the class is really important, and it does teach you a lot of different perspectives.
Without further ado, we'd like to debut the sign that was developed by our Blue Devil sign.
Ready, Maya?
So whenever you guys are ready.
1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Ah!
Again, we'd like to thank Blue Devil Design, all in-house design by Izzy and manufactured right in the next room over. So very cool what we were able to do. And again, thank you to all our students. I mean, you guys are really what made the year successful, is stepping up to the plate and taking the lead and having all those experiences that you guys had. Anything else you want to add? I think everybody's ready to eat now.
Oh, yes.
Was there? Oh yeah, we got it, Mark. Yes. So without further ado, we'll introduce Mark Tsujimoto, who's going to be speaking. Thanks, Mr. Hanson. We'll get your computer plays on. You guys have a seat, thanks.
So, it was a very popular expression, I don't know, a couple decades ago. It said it takes a village to raise a child. And if you ever doubted the veracity of that statement, tonight, you have there's no doubt that it does take a village to raise a child. It takes visionary leaders from so many people. It takes people all working together for a common goal. And as a president of the KT Foundation, I'm very proud to have made this grant and to see what you guys have been able to accomplish. And we also thank you for the great privilege of having the program named after our family. And so I beg your indulgence. I know you're probably hungry, your stomachs are probably growling, but I'd like to share the family's story with you so that you can understand why we made this grant and why this is such a significant event for our family. And so, yeah. So this is kind of I'll try to keep it brief. The Tsujimoto family farm, there's an expression among the Japanese Americans called Kodamo no Tami ni. It means for the sake of the children. Okay, let's see, hopefully. These are the parents, Miki and Roy. They immigrated from Japan. Roy was first. He got established, worked as an agricultural worker, worked on farms. Eventually he got established, and he went back to Japan, to his home village, and he convinced Miki to come with him and come to America with him and start a new life there. They're what we call Issei. That means the first generation Japanese American immigrants. They had limited English, and then culturally they were pretty Japanese, but they were very proud to be living in America. Roy was like the third or fourth son, and you know, in Japan they have what they call primogeniture. So the first son gets almost everything. The rest of the sons have to kind of fend for themselves. He was sickly as a child. They didn't think he was going to survive, so the family did not invest in him. But he had a really burning desire to succeed. And so he came to this country and he made something out of it. And he deeply appreciated the opportunities and the freedom. So this is the family farm. Eventually they settled in El Centro, California, which is right on the Mexican border, right near the Great Salton Sea, in a town called El Centro. He first started out as a dairy farmer, and you can see that's him standing with his cows. And eventually what happened to the Depression sunk the price of milk, and so they went bankrupt. But he started again as vegetable farmers. So this is their farm in El Centro. You can see it was a rather large farm. So Japanese Americans were very significant in the agriculture of California. From 1885 to 1924, about 380,000 immigrants came from Japan, primarily as agricultural workers, to both Hawaii and the West Coast. They started out as laborers, they saved their money, and they started farms. Most of the time they had to rent because they were not allowed to own land. So in 1900, there were only 37 Japanese American farms, farming about 4,674 acres. It's amazing they have all these figures. From 1910, there were 1,816 farms, farming almost 100,000 acres. And by the 1940s, Japanese American farms produced 95% of the beans in California, and peas and beans, 67% of the tomatoes, and 44% of the onions. So Roy's farm was in the desert, and the soil was heavily alkaline, and not considered possible to be productive, but he figured out a way to make it grow. His first son was my father, Joshua Tsujimoto. He was a natural-born farmer. Unfortunately, it skips generation. None of us children are natural-born farmers. Josh was a member of the FFA, and he was earned first California State Farmers. So there's a FFA, there's a competition every year. And you compete within your own school, and then you go to the next level, and the next level, and the next level. And he was eventually named the best student farmer in California. And then they compete on a national level where there's 50, well, that wasn't 50 because there weren't 50 states then, but the first American Farmer Award. And he was chosen as the American farmer from California. So it's a great honor. So this is the family. Roy really loved garden, you know, the traditional Japanese garden. Well, obviously it was hard to grow a traditional Japanese garden in California, but he made do with what he had around him. And so this is the family. That's my father, that's Roy and Miki, and that's Harry, and then Jimmy. So these are more pictures. First is young and older. So alongside the American dream aspect of the family story with freedom, taking advantage of opportunities, hard work with that reward is the dark side, kind of the American nightmare for many immigrant groups. There's discrimination, there's ethnic racial prejudice. They were not accepted by certain people nor allowed to be fully American. You know, both federal and state laws limited immigration. There was a quota system. They had to register every year. Federal law prohibited Asians from becoming naturalized citizens, and state laws prevented Asian non-citizens from owning land. So how they got around that is birthright citizenship. As soon as my father was born in 1920, there was a lawyer that helped Roy buy a farm in Dad's name, even though he was just a baby, right? And but you know, that's how they got through. And the goal was to own your own farm, right? And Japanese Americans were seen as the yellow peril, a national security threat, not really American, not to be trusted. The FBI compiled lists of Japanese American leaders well before Pearl Harbor. So these are samples of the American anti-Asian racism. Notice this cartoon in particular, you know, these are all seen, they're all spies, and they're going to be saboteurs. And you can tell by the style that cartoon was made by Dr. Seuss. So, you know, once again, racial slurs. You know, they were not allowed to move in certain neighborhoods. He later apologized for that, his racism. Then, of course, Pearl Harbor happens. That changes everything for the Tsujimoto family. Within a month, President Roosevelt issues Executive Order 9066, where any Japanese American, even if you have 1% blood, you were considered Japanese American, you were considered Japanese, and you were not allowed to live on the West Coast. You had to move inland. The West Coast is designated a military exclusion zone, established curfews, set in motion forced displacement. You're given 7 days to 10 days to prepare to move. You're only allowed to take what a person could carry in your own hands. So imagine you were told that, you know, what would you take? You know, what you could fit in 2 suitcases. In large cities, they're first taken to assembly centers, often repurposed horse racing tracks or fairgrounds. Eventually, over 120,000, the word was interned in 10 camps. 2/3 of them were U.S. citizens. There was no due process, no way to appeal the process. You were rounded up. If you didn't show up, they went after you. Okay? The Tsujimoto family was sent to a camp in Poston, Arizona. This is what the camps looked like. Tar paper barracks. You lived in family units. There were communal bathrooms, communal dining halls. There were barbed wire all around the perimeter. There were machine gun towers. Machine guns were facing in. After 2.5 years, the government finally realized that was a dumb decision to make, that they really weren't a threat. In fact, they were able to find much later that J. Edgar Hoover said that there was no evidence of organized Japanese American resistance or saboteurs or spies or anything. So the government said, oh, we're spending all these money, you know, housing 120,000 people. So they said, okay, you know, they started to wind down those camps, and family was allowed to resettle. So they had to meet 4 requirements. Every person was forced to do a loyalty document. And there was two questions in particular. You had to renounce any loyalty to Japan, and you had to be willing to you had to pledge loyalty to the U.S. and be willing to defend the U.S. against Japan. And you answer yes, yes to both of those questions. So our family did. You also only could move east. You could not return to the West Coast. And you must have a job and attend school, and someone had to sponsor you. And so the Albano family, they sponsored their move to Elma. And then because they had they had a family in El Centro called the Schoonmakers who had protected their property. They were really good neighbors. They went out of their way to make, once the internment process happened, all their bank accounts were frozen. They had no access to any money. They had property taxes to pay and all these other things. The Schoonmaker family protected their land, so they had a farm. They protected their equipment. There was a lot of vandalism and theft, and the Schoonmakers protected the family so there was something to transfer. So they moved from Poston, Arizona, all the way to Elma. This is a picture of Reverend and Mrs. Albano. He was, I think, an Assemblies of God minister, and then he had a farm. He liked to grow gladiolas and things like that, and so he offered the farm to the Tsujimoto family as shares, the farm in shares. So this is Jimmy, one of the sons. Josh went to Houghton College first, and then Harry was, we'll talk about Harry a little bit later, but then this is, they're growing shares, working shares with the Albano family. And eventually, they were able to get their own farm on Rice Road in Elma. And so this is the picture of the farm back in the day, and there's the family right there. That's Jimmy to the left, Mickey and Roy, and then Harry, who's in the Army, and my father, Josh. So Josh and Harry eventually made it to Cornell, and to set them up with just a wonderful opportunity. My father was a proud Cornellian, and he said that he used his education every day of his life. So here's more pictures of the family, and that's Roy. Even in his 80s, he was still creating a Japanese garden at Rice Road. So then eventually the family moves their farm after, I think I was born, right? We moved to a house on Seneca Street in Elma, and they started a little roadside farm market. And later on it became a store. So here's Harry's path. Part of the impetus to cooperate with the East Aurora Public School is that Harry, after leaving the camp, he came to East Aurora and he attended his senior year at East Aurora High School. And that's his yearbook picture, and there's his diploma. And Harry's path, after that he went to Cornell, and he got a Bachelor's of Science degree. And then after taking his Bachelor of Science, he applied to University of California at Berkeley, and he got a master's there. And he worked in the lab of Professor Daniel Arnon doing fundamental research in photosynthesis. He published 29 research papers during his career. And the lab was nominated for the Nobel Prize, but they didn't win it. And my uncle, was adamant that they deserved to win it, not the other. So that's him in the lab working with his coworkers. And on the remarkable part of their story is our foundation is called KT. The K stands for the Kase family. So Harry married Grace Kase, who was a realtor, and the T, of course, stands for the Tsujimoto family. Together, they created a thriving business in residential and commercial real estate. They amassed holdings of worth $20 million. So Harry would work all day at the lab, and on weekends he would go, at night when he was done with the lab, he'd go home and do repairs, remodel, renovate apartments, and he basically became a self-taught general contractor. So that's Grace and Harry there in their younger days after just getting married. Okay. And then one aspect of them was Harry was they had tremendous amount of belief in the community. So he served in the U.S. Army. He wasn't old enough to fight in World War II, but he joined the Army, and there was a very famous Japanese-American military unit called the 442nd Regimental Combat Team. It became the most highly decorated unit of its size in Army history. And Harry was inspired by them, so when he decided to serve, he joined the Army and he chose infantry as his branch. And upon his retirement, he volunteered. Even during the years, they would spend Saturdays volunteering at the Veterans Hospital in San Francisco, Fort Riley. And when he retired, it became like a second job for him. He eventually, the VA, they chronicle every hour of volunteer work that you had, and he chronicled over 23,000 hours of service at Fort Riley Hospital. And then he chose the path of philanthropy. Harry and Grace, through hard work, wise investments and thrift, amassed a significant personal fortune. So Harry creates the KT Foundation, a family foundation, to systematically donate the bulk of their estate. To date, we have grants totaling $20 million to various nonprofit organizations: UC Berkeley, Cornell University, the Asian Art Museum, Rescue Dogs, Support Dogs for Veterans, and Japanese American community organizations and medical research. And I'd like to recognize my board, which is here today. Iris Ng is on our board. Go ahead. Franklin Tsao is also a member of our board. So this is my father's story, Joshua Tsujimoto. That's me, and that's Polly. Polly's here today. Johnny is here also. Yeah. And then Dad, of course, he built the business on Seneca Street with his wife Alice, and not just farming, but also Asian groceries, Asian gifts. So he was remarkable. Did bonsai trees and everything. Yeah. So it went from a farm store to a general gift shop, and Oriental Arts, Gifts and Foods, they called it. And that was the garden in front. So Josh took early retirement, sold his business, and when he was in the camp, he got a vision, a calling to be agricultural missionary work. And so he never forgot it, but he went, it took him 40 years, but eventually he devoted the rest of his life to working in developing countries, developing agricultural techniques and sharing them with the local farmers. So I'd like to finish our comment. Thank you for your patience in listening, but this is kind of the key point of my discussion. There were key cultural values which guided their family's behavior, both the Issei generation and the Nisei generation. The first one is called gaman, and that's a core Japanese cultural value. It translates to enduring the seemingly unbearable with patience and dignity. It represents quiet resilience, stoic perseverance, and emotional discipline without complaining. There's another very common expression which reflects a cultural value called shikata ganai. I heard this one a lot. It means it cannot be helped, or nothing can be done about it. It's culturally used to accept uncontrollable situations, moving past them with resilience rather than frustration. So despite the racism, despite the animosity, despite the obstacles that were put in the way, they just worked through them. And the last one is kodomo no tami ni. Their motivation was for the sake of the children. Everything they did, all the sacrifices they made were for my generation and for the next generation, so they could enjoy a better life. Now, these things are not just Japanese values. Any culture that's worth anything, that thrives and survives, is because they have values like this or similar values or even more. Compassion, looking out for your neighbor, all these things. And that is what makes a country great. Because these aren't just Japanese values. As America invites and absorbs all these different cultures, they become part of American cultural values as well. So the last one we have to say is own. That's a very important Japanese cultural value. Despite everything that the Issei and the Niseis endured, they were able to say, this country has been good to us. And it meant that if they received the goodness from that country, it created an obligation and it needed to be treated with tremendous gratitude. And so this character here, Owen, means gratitude and obligation. So I'm here tonight and humbled by everything that we've seen and heard, because Western New York welcomed our family. They didn't have to, but they did. They made a place for us. They accepted us. Okay? And because of that, our family was able to establish a home here and become Americans. Okay? And then Western New York opened a whole new world to them. So these grants to the East Aurora Educational Foundation, to this school, to these students, is a way of our family saying thank you. We're paying it back, and we're also paying it forward. So it's our great privilege to make this grant tonight. Thank you for listening to our family story.
That's not fair, Betsy. I can't follow that. Thank you. Thank you. And I don't know if you saw, but we probably should have asked for permission first. We wanted to tape that because I envision us using that for years and years and years, and so many powerful stories and lessons that we'll be able to share with generations of students here. So thank you. Thank you. All right. So it is dinner time. And Brittany, do you think should we do it by, this is the principal speaking. Should we do it by rows here? Or I'm a little worried about
Sure.
invading the food over there.
So there are 2 lines of tables set up, and the mains are on both sets of tables. You can go down either side, but the sides kind of vary depending on what table you go to. So plates start at this end of the room and come this way so that you can move right back in. So.
And can I say, when we're done eating, Ethan and Jeff will have open house out on the farm if people want to head out. I think the mist has maybe stopped. So we'd love to welcome you when you're done eating out on the farm. So why don't we start with the head table here, heading over, and then we can move on to